Hello Tubesters, it's Gav and welcome to another one of my videos. Another pop-up one. Yes, I can't get the box into shot. Robert Grinstead sent me a box of models, ships, recently, a few months ago. And this was in it, and he said he was going to send me HMS Bristol. I just wasn't expecting all the other kits that was in there. But this is a resin ship from MT Miniatures. I can't remember if I quickly showed it or not. It won't be a full-on review, but she's now ready. I've got to wait a couple of days to order some photo etch and stuff for her, just because the places I use, Atlantic Models and Starling Models, are on holidays at the moment, so just have to wait. But this is HMS Bristol. She was the only one of a type. I think I've said before. It was a classic British government's of all stripes, colours, whatever colours, because they're reds and blues and oranges, different colours associated to our political parties over here. Yeah, they were supposed to be planned for a group of them. I'll say a group, I don't know if that's a proper word. 4, 5, 6, and they were supposed to accompany the carriers and stuff like that as larger command ships, and with lots of different weapon fits. And as usual, oh well, they've turned out too expensive, and only Bristol was ever made. So, but she went to the Falklands War, and she was the flagship down there after the carriers. I believe Hermes at least went, was sailing back. She was temporarily carrying the Admiral until the new carrier Illustrious came down to relieve her as flagship. But really, for us, quite a large destroyer. And as I say, because of her size, she could carry an Admiral and all his staff and everything. So she was used as a command ship. Usual, was it 4.5? I should know these things. 4.5, 4.7 inch gun, whatever. This dome here is for the Ikara anti-submarine missile system. I'm not sure. I believe I could have sworn it was used once or twice in the Falklands War. I'm not sure. Not from Bristol. It's a huge, great big slug of a missile. Well, I shouldn't say slug, as they've usually got them carrying them on the back. But huge missile system. It was actually made by Australia. Yes, Australia. You had, even in those days, you had military contractors or whatever. But this is like a fiberglass dome, I believe, something like that, just to protect the workings. This is the tracking dome for the inside. There'll be a radar protected under there. Same with these other domes. All they are fiberglass domes that's obviously they've got the normal turning radar, and that inside it just keeps the weather off them. In more modern, well, say modern, not sure about the present day Royal Navy. Well, the latest batch, because they make them now, don't they, all anti-radar, so they're all angled and everything. But up to the Type 23 frigates and that, they carried the radars obviously, but not the domes. I suppose it was just top weight. They didn't really need it. Is it Sea Slug at the back? I don't think Sea Dart. I think it's Sea Slug at the back. I might be wrong. It's a resin ship from MT Miniatures. A British company. It's a husband and wife business. I met them at Telford this year. So I've got another ship to show you. Ship to show you. So I was saying that after a drink. So here she is. She's going to be you get a tiny amount. I mean, although it says photo etch, the railings you get literally, I can't even remember where you're supposed to put them, but they'd literally, maybe if you were lucky, go around here, around the Sea Slug system. There's no. You will need to purchase more railings. I was speaking to, I can't remember the fella's name, nice bloke, and he said, I build. Well, he doesn't. He gets somebody else to build them, but my ships are a basic layout of that particular ship. They're meant to be, and then I leave it up to if people want to leave it like that. And a lot of people do. A lot of people are quite happy not to have ship's railings on or anything. It looks like HMS Bristol. That's good enough for them. Me, I like to detail them up. So I will be removing, these are like ladders here, they'll be cut out, sanded a bit, and replaced with photo etch, and I may do it for the doors and that as well, if there are any doors being shown. So there's lots of bits and pieces. You get some white metal, which I'm going to show you another ship at the moment in a minute, which I bought at the show, and you get white metal fittings that might use them, might make my own, I'm not sure yet. But I've got a basic HMS Bristol, and I can do what I want with her to bring her up to what I want her to be, and then put her in a nice sea base. So thanks again, Robert, for sending me that. That's really appreciated. So that's that. I say it's not a proper review. You'll see more parts of her when I start building her or putting bits together on her. But this is the other ship in question. This is it's not a Royal Navy ship. It does. I never really understand it. I should read up more on it. She's a Royal Fleet Auxiliary, so there are unarmed, unless it's time of war, ships that supply the logistics side of it, and our some of our roll-on, roll-off stuff, some of our floating docks, all that type of stuff. They're actually manned by Royal Fleet Auxiliary personnel, not Royal Navy personnel. They are uniformed. I don't believe they wear, like, you know, them sailors' caps and all that type of stuff, but they are uniformed. They're always naval grey. But instead of, and they'll be so like registered London on the back, or it's where they're all that. I never really get it 100%. They're civilian ships, but they are the Royal Fleet Auxiliary. Whether the government's backing, I mean, this is going, I believe it goes back to pre-World War II. Whether it was done as a cost-saving thing. I mean, most navies, you just have a fleet, because she's a light fleet tanker, so she's not huge. They're all gone now. This is the Rover class, so this is Black Rover, and my connection to Black Rover is I just happened to be standing on a headland in the Falklands Islands when I was on garrison duty, and I was watching her coming through the Narrows, going up into I call them the Narrows, what it is, but going into Mare Harbour, I would imagine maybe to offload fuel. I'll take it, because these carry mainly obviously fuels and lubricants, and clean water as well. They've got a water tank on board as well to supply ships with water, fresh water, and they can supply other logistics as well. But they were light fleet tankers, believe built in the late 60s to early mid 70s. I think there was 5 or 6 of them. And they all end in Rover and then a colour. So this was Black Rover, you had Gold Rover, Green Rover, Blue Rover, you get it. Now, let's get in a bit closer with this. This is actually, it says Atlantics on the box, but it is owned by MT Miniatures. He was saying he bought the rights or whatever it is for this ship. So it's not his, it's different resin. I want to change a lot on this. There's a lot that needs, for me, changing. We'll have a closer look in a second. I've just plonked the white metal just to show you what it's like, and we've got a couple of ships, lifeboats here. These are the orange ones, you know, like the civilian ones you see on merchant ships. Now I've got a photo, I've only just ordered it today. I've got a photograph of the Black Rover coming, just because I like to show you guys it's hard for me just to show you a bit of resin and whatever. I like to show you the real ship. So I've got a photograph coming, and she's actually got normal ships, whaleboats as they used to call them, rather than the orange ones. So when she started carrying those, I'm not sure, but there's a lot of things. I even thought of scratch building this one, just because I wanted to do stuff that I had seen in a photograph, and I wanted to improve on this. So these stanchions here that obviously hold that deck up, obviously someone's used, I would imagine, when they were building this plasticard in there. Well, they're not like that, and they're a lot more thinner. I can understand them being made like that for multiple resin pours and getting them out the mould, The stanchions, the piers, whatever you want to call them, they're a lot thinner than that, and they're round. So I'll use some. I'm going to hack these out with my Dremel and a buzzy saw. I'll probably do it outside because of the resin. I normally like to immerse all my stuff when I'm working with resin in water, keep the dust down, but I don't know if I'll be able to do that with using a saw. So I'm going to knock all these out, put my own in. There's doors and stuff behind there which I'll be doing. Because this is quite, I mean, you can see this needs a really good clean off, good sanding. It's quite ripply behind these stanchions or in between, and when I do knock these stanchions off, I'm going to probably have to give them a really good clean out. So I've even thought of maybe putting a very thin strip of plastic card in front of this resin, super gluing it on. So we'll see. There's bits on deck which I can't really show you without a photograph, and you've also got to be careful because what somebody's seen as their photograph, as I've said with the Avenger, ships change all the time. So what fittings are on here might be okay when that person put it together, put the kit together originally. Well, it's not kit, but built it to mould. I might see different. There's another breakwater or two separate breakwaters further down. This is in more modern ships now of our fleet. I can still call them oilers, like from World War II, but for tankers and stuff. This is like the control box area for these big derricks up here, which have got rubber fuel hose. Well, take it they're rubber, but the fuel hoses that go over to the ships they're refueling, and all these are on big winch cables to obviously swing them out. So I want to. These are there goes the mast, radar fitted. I want to change this. This is actually a lot of as you'd imagine, lattice. Well, somebody's just gone zigzags and potty. Well, that doesn't cut mustard for me, whatever they call it. So and these are supposed to be I don't know if that's flash or the fuel lines, but these are the fuel lines hanging down. So I want to make these into lattice, which will be quite hard for the scale. I'm going to completely change this whole section and make it out of plasticard again. This is another communications dome, which it's not that bad, but I just want to change that whole area. There's a gangway, if you want, I don't know what you call it, but underneath the bridge windows. Might even be just to clean the bridge windows, but there's a gangway that goes there which is missing on here. I might leave those in just for structure, I'm not sure, but some of these I might be taking out. Now I've actually got ship's railings for this. I bought a generic set, got them from China a year or 2 years ago, and when I looked at them I thought, no, I'm not going to use these. But they are actually exactly the proper railings, because these are different railings, I believe, from the Royal Navy ships, and I can use the railings for that, which is great. The only thing I haven't got is blooming helicopter nets, and that's hard to get separate. So I've got to find somewhere I can get some helicopter netting, because this is obviously a helicopter deck. There's no hangar space for them, and that's just in case a helicopter's got to land. And I've seen a few pictures of the different Rovers with Sea Kings, either jungly Sea Kings, so commando from the commando squadron that fly the Sea Kings, and I've seen other Sea Kings and Lynx and you name it on the back. I believe as part of the recognition they've got like an anchor at the back here, and only the last batch, which I believe Black Rover was, actually got that. So I need to be checking out this back section as well. We'll check this crane out as well, see if it needs changing or keeping, just to clean up. Same with obviously the radar up here. Big chunk missing out the satellite or radar dome, whatever it is there. That needs doing. Might need to put a hole in the funnel there in these separate tubes. These aren't little circles, they're actually square portholes on the front. I was just wondering if I could do anything with those. So you know, go to town on her, save, keep what's. Oh, that's what else I wanted to do. So I'm going to keep what is worth keeping, and you know, scrap and remake other bits. So this box section here I'll probably redo. This part, the bow that's flared out here, I'm going to take that off, because I believe when I look at pictures it's just slightly too low. It could just be as well because the residue from the resin has made it a bit not so much depth to it, but they also have a couple of hawser holes out the front here for when they're attached to buoys, I take it. So I'm gonna. It won't be hard to take that back and then refashion and then re-putty another bow section. And I might, at this scale it's not horrendous, it might get away with just, it tends to go into more of a Y shape, so I might just sand that back a bit. I'll say all this big gob of resin here, that all needs replacing. These, there's no derricks that I can see for the ship's boats, the two lifeboats, which, as I say, are all these are all covered. Those big fiberglass orange ones, so that, you know, that's not too bad. But they've obviously got derricks to swing them out over the side, and they're missing on there. So there's a lot that could be done, to be honest with you, to in my eyes, to make it a bit more accurate to the Black Rover I want to make her. So I'm not having a swing at MT miniatures. That's if you just want a ship that's basic, and you don't want to do anything to her, then Bob's your uncle. You've got Black Rover or one of her sister ships, unless you have to take off the back section there for one of the older ones. But and if you do want to you know, improve her to whatever you want to do, then you can do that as well. So I did just say I was half in mind to have a go at building one, and I still might. I've always liked these tankers, and I might at some stage have a go at building my own on one of her sister ships. But for now, because I've already got plans to build, I'm either gonna. I don't know if anybody will listen to this, but I don't know how. There's like free plans that I've seen. Not well, say free, but people have put them up on they're the big scale plans for radio control ships. Well, I'm not spending that money on those, and then I've got to spend money to try and reduce them all the way down to one in 700 and one in 350 scale. So I wanted to. There was some plans up for HMS Plymouth, which is a Rothsay class frigate that was also in the Falkland Islands War, or Falklands War. But I don't know, when I look at something, how to get it on my computer and then put it down to 1 in 700 scale. Does anybody know? I haven't got Photoshop or anything like that, so that's no good to me. I've also, if I don't build her, I've seen there's a company that do 3D like those like CAD drawings, and it's of the Mounts Bay. And she's one of our logistic dock ships, again Royal Fleet Auxiliary, and she has landing craft go in and out. You know, she can open the back door and the landing craft go in and out. And I'd like to do her in 1/700 scratch building, because she's an up-to-date ship and she's got all the angles. You know, again, like the less radar to pick up. You know, the radar can't pick them up so well. And it was fairly, although there's not a plan, I thought, well, there's top-down of her, this 3D scan image, whatever, and there's sides and angles and you name it. And I thought, well, if I could get my wife to print those off for me, I can plonk, you know, again my card or I put paper on first, and then I put it onto card. It's a bit thicker to work with, and then I to draw around, and then I put it on the plastic card, or the sheet, plastic sheet, styrene sheet. So, but I don't know how the hell to reduce what I'm looking at to, and she doesn't know, and she's going to have a look for me before she starts working in the next couple of days. But I've got a feeling she won't be able to do it. So if anybody knows how I can, if you go online and put HMS Plymouth in, I know it's a lot to ask, put HMS Plymouth in, Rothsey class plan, ship's plans, ship's drawing, you'll see them all come up. And I only need the basics. I'm not doing a full hull or anything, and I can then get it to the same scale as I want, and I can, as I say, scribe around it, and that gives me my different elements of deck. And the only thing you do without having the proper plan is, I don't know if this is called the chine. I always hear Navy guys call it the chine, but it's the actual shape of the hull itself. Like you're not always going to get that shape, if just on a side view and a top-down view, but anything's better than nothing, you know what I mean? And I can work from there. So as I say, I'd like to do that. I think it's Turbo Squid. The place was called. We've got the Mounts Bay, and it said something. I mean, it's something about for 3D games or something. And like Plymouth is an old-fashioned ship's drawing. But if anybody knows how can talk me on the computer, so I don't have any fancy stuff. So I have Photoshop and all that stuff. How I can reduce, because if I know how to do that, I can start, making the shapes and start making ships. I say I'm not trying to do it. It's like doing this Turbo Squid one. I'm not doing it commercially. I'm not trying to sell ships off their plans or anything like that. You know what I mean? I'm just doing it for my own enjoyment. So if anybody knows, because with my busted head and I've got no maths skills or anything, so this is where I struggle. This is why I get the scale creep in the Avenger and stuff, But if I've got an actual something I can put a greaseproof, I don't even have tracing paper, but greaseproof paper over and trace a top-down look at the Mounts Bay, it'd be like looking down at that. I can get that shape straight away, you see, and then I can make separate shapes for like this section, and that's how I can build them up. I suffer a bit from it's trying to work out. Then I've just got to look out of photographs and do it by eye, really, how to get the shape of the holes. But so you do get some though that have got the full. They show you, because it's made for putting the support pieces in if you were doing a radio control ship. But they show you the from the bow to the stern in section, and that's brilliant because you can then judge how to make the actual chine, if you want to call it that, of the hull. So that was as clear as mud, I know. So again, all I'm asking for, does anybody know how Gav can reduce or put in, how do I put in one, because I've tried like putting a picture and then one in 700 and one. I have no idea how to reduce things so I can get a plan going. Because I can't keep doing some, like I did with I cut them off the sprue with the Avenger, and literally plonked the side of the ship down and drew round it. So if anybody could help me with that, I'd be very grateful. So yeah, that's these are a couple of things that are coming up in the new year. I'm doing a New Year video for tomorrow or the next couple of days. I won't do the Happy New Year's yet, only because it's not till tomorrow. So, but yeah, just thought I'd put this up, show what I'm about to start. Heaven help me. So we've got this one, and they're both going along. Let's get Bristol alongside. We could have a refuel in it, couldn't we? So both of these are going to get done together at the same time. I thought, stuff it. If you're making mess for one, you can make mess for the other. So the only thing that's slowing us down at the moment is I've got to wait a couple more days before I put an order into Peter Atlantic Models for some photo etch. He does a generic photo etch, different railings and stuff. So I put one into him, and I can get the railings then going for the proper full fit railings. For they're not designed for her, but they're at the right scale, so we can get Bristol on the go. Because one thing with resin ships, unless you're going to completely butcher her, do with Black Rover, is she's there ready for you. You know what I mean? You just put in as much as effort as you want to do. So yeah, we've got to, whether we keep the metal radar fitting masts for her and the other few bits and pieces like the Sea Slug missiles and that, or whether we, or I think they are Sea Slug rather than Sea Dart. I'm not exactly remembering. But yeah, I'll be going around and doing bits and pieces to her extra, but not as involved as Black Rover, only because I don't think she needs to be. So thank you very much. That was as clear as mud to all of you, wasn't it? You've got to have it. So right, just a quick say, I've got some videos coming up in the new year. They're all going to be, well, all the videos now, with my wife working from home now, and as I said to you before, the collateral noise damage, it's just how it is. I can sometimes have to, she's gone out to her friends for an hour, that's why I mean get this video out now, but most of the videos will probably be made at night now, and light isn't going to be as good, but I've got Charlie Mac was really kind to give me a shout out the other day, and I had a few guys come over and say hello and sub and whatever, and I wanted to give those fellas a shout out because I thought it was very kind of them to do that. Obviously give Charlie a proper shout out again, where I won't do it now, but I'll do a proper shout out on that video as well, get his name up so people can go and subscribe to him. I've also, along with everything else, I've got to start the wheeled vehicle group build. Tom's, I'm doing tiny bits to it, but it will get going again, Tom. I've not put it on the back burner for long, but I'd already said I'd do Joachim's group build, and I've got a 1:72 scale truck to do for that, so I'd like to get that done and dusted. So I've got I'll do a quick show and tell of the unboxing of that, and get on with building that as well. No pressure. So we've got videos coming up of the group build vehicle. Was it progresses? We've got ship videos coming up. I know you've me and Vinny like them, and Robert likes them. There's at least 2 or 3 of us. So that's going. I've got the Games Workshop Space Wolf. He's progressing nicely. I'm down to the last two and a half bits now, so I've got a head, a backpack, and I've started the rifle blaster bolter gun thing. I'm almost done with that. I've got Prussians still probably only about halfway through those 8, the drummers and everything. Hopefully I'll show you some 28mm Cuirassiers in the next week or so, because they need to get put up for sale. Still got no further with Dengar's base, so that needs to get done. Yeah, there's loads of stuff. And there will be an old Tom video. It probably won't be for a couple of weeks, because I really do want to show some progress rather than just showing you a bit of stuck together stuff and a bit of sanding. So right, look after yourselves. I won't do the Happy New Year bit yet because it isn't, so I'll do that in a Happy New Year video. So that'll be the next one, will be a Happy New Year video. We'll address some of the builds I'd like to do, some of the figures I'd like to do, at least for the first 6 months of the year, and yeah, that type of thing. So look after yourselves, and hey, we're all, tells me, my demographics tell me roughly we're all old farts that watch my video, so I don't be expecting you to be out there partying like it was 1984. So look after yourselves, raise a glass to each other, and we'll all catch up soon in the new year. Look after yourselves.